Evening, Kevin.
Now, first, let's deal with the license fee first. I mean, the BBC goes around, all the bosses at the BBC, the people at the BBC seem to kid themselves that they're held with great affection by the members of the public, and that everybody thinks it's fantastic value for money. It's £159 a year. It's more than any other television subscription service you can mention. But there you go. But of course, this poll has revealed that 2/3 of the population no longer want to pay it and feel it should be scrapped. I mean, the BBC bosses are swimming against the cultural tide, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, we see again and again and again that two-thirds of the country want to get rid of the TV license fee. It's a stat that comes up over and over. And the BBC, in response to this latest poll, said, "Well, we don't accept, this polling data. We only accept our own polling data, which is,
But they
carried
do,
out
yeah.
by." So they just completely disregard. And we're not talking about, I mean, I don't know actually who commissioned this poll today. So it's not as if they can say, oh, well, that's been commissioned by Defund the BBC or whatever. These are different polls that are commissioned by different people, but through reputable pollsters. And they, every time, two-thirds, it's a standard figure. And you have to look at that polling today. It said 14% of respondents think that the BBC is good value. I mean, that's just absolutely dire, isn't it? How can they continue with that?
Indeed. So the other proposal, which I thought was terrible. So they're now. Do you remember James Purnell, the former 350 grand a year ex-Labour kind of cabinet wastrel who ended up in charge of everything at the BBC for
Yeah.
no reason in particular, except he's a regular reader of The Guardian, as far as I could work out. But he was in charge of radio and television or something, wasn't he? Anyway, he's gone now, but he's written that he now favours that he agrees the licence fee may be on the way out, but he favours a levy on every household, a new tax. So we pay, it's like a council tax, only you pay a broadcasting tax. So the thing about the license fee now is you do have the chance to opt out. You're not allowed to watch the BBC. You're not allowed to watch live television, but you can opt out of it. So the new system, this levy, would mean that you couldn't opt out of it, whether or not you watched the BBC or whether or not you even owned a television. So that would be even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what our supporters, think that the BBC and the government have been angling towards and are, really strongly opposed to. I mean, it's based on the German model. And Germany is a high tax country. We're not, the same nation as the Germans. And I don't think it would be a very sensible decision for a conservative government to bring something like this in. I think it'd be deeply unpopular. But also in Germany, it's a tax per household, and every household has to pay. But how does that work for people who live on their own or for single parents? Because a single parent would be paying, double what a family with two parents in the home would be paying. So it's deeply unfair. It's discriminatory, and it's certainly not something that our supporters would be very happy about at all.
It is replacing a kind of compulsory tax, which you can at least opt out of, with a compulsory tax that you can't opt out of. So it will be absolutely worse. When are these people at the BBC going to realise that sooner or later we are going to cut their financial umbilical cord?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that that they just won't accept is that the end is here. And Nadine Dorris was absolutely right when she said that this should be the last license fee at the end of the charter. That is the end of it, and we 100% agree with her, and we wish that she really would have held firm on that. Our understanding, or from what the reports were in, I think, the Telegraph, was that Rishi led the sort of cabinet revolt in that, and pushed for her to row back on it, and that's deeply disappointing.
Do you know why, Rebecca? You know why? Because
Why is
I'm
that?
not saying Rishi Sunak is dim, but there is a certain dim kind of politician who buys the nonsense from the BBC that it is wildly popular around the nation and you damage the BBC at your own political peril. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. But no one goes round going, isn't the BBC wonderful? That's what it is. Rishi Sunak and the gang are scared that if they take the licence fee away, the people won't like them for that. The people will thank them and vote them back in. But let's move on. I want to talk about BBC 4 because the BBC is saying so cash-strapped are they now that Nadine Dorries has frozen the 159 quid licence fee for the next 2 years, and they're just going to have to get by on £3.75 billion every year. I mean, my hat's off to them for the way they managed to do that. So because of these cutbacks they say they're going to have to instigate, they might have to scrap BBC 4. Are you a ballet fan, Rebecca?
I don't even know. I've never even watched BBC 4. I mean, what's even on there?
Tonight, I'm not kidding you. The entire schedule is ballet, different bits of ballet. Wow. I suppose, it's good that minority interests get served, but not at my expense. I don't really want to be paying for a channel that broadcasts ballet all night. So if they axe BBC 4, they're going, well, you realise we might have to axe BBC 4. Millions of people go, who cares? Do it.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. But it's really interesting that they haven't, you were just talking about BBC 3 before, that they've chosen to say BBC 4 over BBC 3.
Yeah, because they just brought back BBC. How can they be saying this? They just brought BBC 3 back from the cold. It's been online for the past 3-4 years. So they've reinstigated it as a proper terrestrial channel. And then they go, we might have to axe BBC 4. Well, why didn't you just not bring BBC 3 back?
Because BBC 3 is their target audience of youngsters.
Young people don't watch the BBC. When are they going to find this out?
But they're thinking, okay, ballet is probably for the older crowd. We'll get rid of that. BBC 3 will keep, hammering away and sort of desperately trying to attract in the young audience. Yeah. But they're on an absolute road to, oblivion with that one. It's just like you say, young people just don't watch it. So how about they cut back on all the middle management, all the wastage that they've got? There's loads and loads of things that they could do. Huge salaries of presenters like Gary Lineker and Dan Walker. So there's so much slack at the BBC that could be tightened up on. But ditch the BBC 4, go for it. Nobody's going to notice.
Well, in the end, you and I both want the licence fee to go, and that isn't an anti-BBC stance. No. I've got a lot of time for the BBC. They do some great stuff, and they're very confident that they're really popular and people love what they do, so they can pay for themselves, get a subscription going, get advertising, whatever the hell it is you want to do, but don't force people to pay for it. So that seems to be the way forward. But the people who run the BBC, I mean, they are absolutely addicted to the licence fee, and it is their lack of compromise in that area. They will not compromise at all. That is going to be the downfall of them, because if you won't compromise, you'll end up with nothing.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, the one brilliant drama that's come out of the BBC recently is Killing Eve, and that was actually produced by BBC America, which is a commercial operation, and then it was sold into Netflix very quickly. So most people actually watched it on Netflix on demand. They didn't need a license fee to watch it. So, they should just be doing more of that kind of thing, and they talk about this massive global audience they have and this soft power. Well, let's get some of those people paying for the BBC. As you say, they've still got a relatively strong brand. There is still time if they do something about it now. I mean, time is running out in order to, really harness that global audience and make a success of it, and give, Netflix and Amazon Prime a run for their money. But clinging on to a reluctant British license fee payer is just, a complete dead end.
As I say, it's going to be the downfall of them because they're not accepting reality. By the way, apart from getting rid of BBC 4, I'd get rid of the One Show as well. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? But the BBC would be a lot better off without the One Show. Great to talk to you, Rebecca.